I should add, while I recommend this very interesting book, it is quite dark and violent and graphic, not for children. Yes, just not, yeah. I don't know how they rate books, but it's probably R. Yeah. Dark stuff. Interesting stuff. Deep stuff. Thoughtful, thought-provoking stuff. Disclaimer, and back to the letter. I had not claimed any leadership or sovereignty, but if there was any decision needing to be made, the people came to me to make it. I had been named leader of Hamara without anyone saying a single word to make it so, and seeing that this was the case, I saw fit to rebuild my nation. The people loved me for that, and with their support, I put in place my government. I could see how things had become so bad under the aristocracy's boot. A group of elite snobs had each claimed a bit of the nation and held it over the rest of the larger population, forcing them into servitude. They had a stranglehold on property and the economy, all because of greed and status. To make sure this would never happen in my new Hamara, I decreed that no one could own property, not even me. Everything was owned by the government. No one owned anything, and no one owned anything, and everything was owned by all. I believed it to be a fair and just system, a true communal state. With the state retaining control over the land, I could ensure a fair and even distribution of its resources, overseeing how the land was worked, putting the effort where it was needed. This was primarily how I fed a starving nation. Of course, every other nation saw me as a usurper and tyrant. What else were the monarchs of the other nations to feel toward the man who had executed his own monarchy? Light. Many neighboring monarchs were related to the higher members of the Hamaran aristocracy. I represented a threat to their power and stability. Thus, they painted me as a villain to their people, for only a true villain would rise up against their rightful rulers. It was at this time that the name Daelus surfaced in reference to me. So it shouldn't come as a surprise that the three neighboring kingdoms to Hamara, Sansun, Lumas, and Damark, invaded shortly after I came to power. Those kingdoms are no more, of course. Their former lands are now a permanent part of modern Hamara. The leaders of these old kingdoms didn't have anything against my people, just with me. They needed to act or lose face, to show their own people what happens to those who fight their rulers. Also, if they liberated Hamara from the lightless queen killer and found that there was no royalty to give the nation to, they would then have to reluctantly take a portion of one of the most prosperous nations in the world. They would then have to reluctantly take a portion of one of the most prosperous nations in the world into their own kingdom, welcoming the orphaned people with open arms into brotherhood and noble rule. How altruistic of them. The Hamaran people rallied behind me, and we met the invaders head-on. We were outnumbered, but through military maneuvers that everyone since have called ingenious, and the creation of our new war machines of my own design, we fought the invaders off. But I didn't stop there. They had sought to kill me and subjugate my people. Thus, they deserved the same treatment. I chose to embrace the name my enemies had called me, Daelus, for I would take away the light of anyone who challenged me. Fighting the Dawn Empire would be like casting night on oneself. Thus, I was Daelus, and I would conquer all who dared oppose me.